The Lunaverse, episode 26 by Rainbow Double Dash, Universe by Rainbow Double Dash, at the Grand Galloping Gala, Chapter 5, and Nightlight.
I'm sorry, Miss Little Moon, but I don't actually have any record of you checking in.
It's just Trixie, and I did, and now I'm checking out.
I'm going to need you to pay for your room, however.
I did last night!
Not according to my records.
Officer, I blatantly have the bits. Why would I break into the hotel without paying and then try to check out?
Oh, sir, this is just a misunderstanding. I'll just need a statement from you and your place of residence to the proprietor choose to pursue the matter further.
How long will that take?
About an hour.
You know what? Forget. I'll just pay again.
Fair enough, ma'am. I'll still need to take the statement regardless.
What do you need? You don't have any donuts.
Well, we just finished the breakfast runs. I'm sorry, ma'am. If you wait just a few minutes, the next batch will be coming out.
How long?
10 minutes.
How could the line be this long?
Yes, the field trips. 3 in one day, are all arriving at the gates open. Perfect storm of chaos.
All before the gala.
Well, it's that way. I've already been waiting half an hour. Security check.
What? No, I just did a random check yesterday.
Not full check, ma'am. Just a 5-minute interview. With the gala tomorrow, wearing security overdrive. We even pulled every fifth pony out of line.
Fine. Oh, where's the line for the interviews?
Over there.
That's absurd! I'll be an hour waiting there.
Sorry, ma'am. Rules are rules. Alright, ma'am, and we're done.
Trixie let out a long sigh of relief as she was granted to leave Canterlot Castle. Against all odds, the interview really had only been about 5 minutes long. Her guess about the line's length, however, had been spot on. With a pony she didn't recognize, and whom she didn't recognize her either. She'd simply been faced with bad luck here, and admittedly probably at Donut Joe's as well. She couldn't see any of her political rivals being so petty as to buy out the stock of where she tried to get her breakfast. Unless they were clairvoyant, they couldn't have known where she was planning to eat anyway. But the 3 field trips? Potentially just a coincidence. But the fact that all 3 schools for Canterlot, and spur of the moment besides, strongly argued against that. And then there were her records at her hotel disappearing. Once was a coincidence, but twice was a conspiracy, as the old adage went. And now, it's past 2 o'clock. She had missed when her note had said she would meet with Nightlight, in effect snubbing him. And one did not snub a viceroy at a vice court. 2 tour groups, a scheduled maintenance, and running into account who was another old friend Nightlight that wanted to tell her that she was a horrible pony layer, Trixie at last found herself, at 3:30, standing inside Nightlight's office, looking at an orange Pegasus secretary, who was ruffling her wings in concern at Trixie's request as she examined both the schedule in front of her, the occasionally rifles in the filing cabinets. I'm sorry, the Pegasus mayor said, but you're not scheduled for any meeting with the Viceroy, and I can't seem to find the note you're referring to. I left it with a gray unicorn yesterday, Trixie insisted. The Pegasus mayor bit her lip as she continued searching. I'm sorry, I'm not the Viceroy's normal secretary. Charcoal took the day off because of a headache, but I don't really see anything. Trixie fumed internally, her rage threatening to burst forth. She struggled to remind herself that this man was not the secretary who had lost her note. Can you please, she said, schedule me to meet with Viceroy Nightlight at his earliest convenience? The secretary nodded, looking down at the schedule in front of her. How does next week sound? The 16th? I'm afraid with the gala, that's the only free time the Viceroy has. Trixie closed her eyes tightly at that. 7 days from now. That is serious, yes. Nothing today. I'm afraid not. The Viceroy is in meetings for the rest of the day and night, and tomorrow's the gala. Fine! Just fine! Trixie opened her eyes. Watching intently as the mayor scribbled down the note on the player.
Once she was certain that the note had been written down, she turned around and stalked away, desperately trying to convince herself she had achieved what constituted as progress. Trixie stared at the remains of her hay shake. Naturally, it was not only not cheering her up, but the pony who had made it for her had informed her that A. His shake shop did not have hot sauce, of course, and B. Even if it did, for her own good, he would not have added it to the shake anyway, and C. Given what she had been saying in the papers, she was lucky he was even serving her in the first place. He repeated as much each time Trixie had brought a new shake and made the same request. So she sat outdoors, on a patio with tables and umbrellas set up, staring at her empty cup. Her fifth, or maybe sixth. The sun was hovering just over the horizon at this point, its golden glare largely obscured by the towers of Canterlot, casting the entire town in varying shades of fading reds and yellows that would soon be fading into orange, then purple, before the silver light of the moon and stars, and the artificial light of the numerous lanterns throughout the city, took primacy. Trixie had hoped that the sugar at the shakes would give her some inspiration, or at the very least drive her into diabetic shock, but neither was happening. The former due to her depression overwhelming the sugar, and the latter due to her not being a diabetic, though she supposed that she had drunk enough shakes that might change. The proprietor was looking like he might soon kick her out, however. This suited her just fine. It gave her an excuse to find the nearest pub and switch from shakes to something decidedly stronger. Bourbon, probably, it being her favorite. Though for some reason, with the mood she was in, the little water, the vodka Staka grad, was looking quite enticing. In all likelihood, she followed the Calibarian mentality of "Pourquoi no les dos?" Why not both? She probably have whiskey too, and rum, and
Are you a magician?
Trixie blinked a few times, looking around for the source of the question. She found it in the form of a blue earth-plane colt, and had set down a shake in front of him, and was staring expectantly at Trixie. Trixie offered a tired smile.
Sometimes,
she said, sitting up straighter as she glanced around. At the window to the shake shop, Trixie saw two stallions, an earth-pony and unicorn, buying their own shakes. Unicorn was probably the colt's father, and the colt and main colors on him were easy to go by.
Can you do a magic trick?
Trixie considered. Her first instinct was to call him from the ear trick. But frankly, Trixie had to watch her bits. Apparently she was going to be a Canterlot for a while. The glass at her empty shake cup gave her an idea. Taking off her cap, she showed it to the colt.
Empty, right?
She asked. The colt frowned a little, received the hat, and wiggling around before nodding confirmation. She pulled back, then pointed to her horn.
No, she said. Note that my horn is not glowing.
Trixie tossed her hat over the shake cup, waved her hose a few times, then, with a quick slide of hoof, snatched her hat off the table. The thin cup having been conveniently moved from beneath her hat and safely out of view from under her cape. To the foal, it looked like it had disappeared utterly. The foal let out a slight cry of surprise, leaning forward and giving Trixie's hat. She let him have it, stuck itself inside, trying to figure out what the cup had gone.
Wow!
He exclaimed after a few moments, returning Trixie's head to her.
How did you do that?
Trixie smiled. It wasn't much of a smile, but it was a genuine.
A magic,
she answered cryptically, setting her hat back on the table. Another round of slight hoof later, and her cup was back under her hat, with the colt none the wiser. At least she not took her hat off the table and set it back on her head. The foal gave a few quick but enthusiastic hoof stomps as the cub's mysterious return.
I wish I could do magic like that,
he moaned.
My dad says I can do too magic, earth-pony magic, and that's pretty cool, but I wish I could do unicorn magic too.
Trixie tapped her hoof to her mouth, before looking left and right conspiratorially.
Well,
she said, taking her hat off again.
That wasn't actually unicorn magic. You can do it too. Here, watch.
Trixie did the trick again, slower this time, without taking effort to hide her motions. Nicole's father came over as she did, though only once with bemused looks on their faces, or occasionally helped explain some of the bigger words Trixie used, as Trixie detailed the steps of the disappearing trick, and the basis of the sleight of hoof and stage magic. By the time she was done, after repeating the trick several times, the colt was able to make the cup disappear himself. Not as easily as Trixie could, but it was certainly more than enough to impress his schoolmates. Eventually, he and his fathers had to leave. The cult master well placed himself, and his fathers thanking Trixie for keeping their son amused. The sun had set in the meantime, and Trixie let out a small sigh. It hadn't been much. It had been for long, and in no way helped her concerning Ponyville. But it had been nice, for just a few minutes, to forget what had happened over the past 2 days, and just make use of her special talent for doing magic for others.
Well, said a voice from behind Trixie, that was quite a show. Representative Trixie.
Trixie blinked a few times, turning around to find the source of the voice. She found herself looking at 2 stallions, both of whom she recognized as members of the Night Court. The taller of the 2 was a unicorn, sleek gray and wearing a vest, a monocle, and sporting an impressive moustache. His key mark was a hammer, banging away at a pair of shooting stars. Trixie recognized him. Archduke Bobby Fischer, an industrialist and very powerful pony, looking intense and determined. She was considerably more interested, however, in the shorter, brown-coated, red-maned stallion beside him, wearing a vest of his own in addition to his fairly genuine smile. His cutie mark was a red X. Duke Greengrass. Instantly, the slight good mood she had managed to build disappeared.
Ah, you recognize us?
Greengrass noted.
Good, that means we can stick up the interjections. Do you mind if we join you?
Empathically,
Trixie responded. Neither Greengrass nor Fisher paid her attention any mind as they sat down. Fisher ran a huff over one half of his mustache thoughtfully as he took Trixie in, while Greengrass instead looked around, taking the patio to shake shop thoughtfully.
I don't believe I've ever come here before.
He nodded absently.
Tell me, how are the shakes?
not enough hot sauce.
Trixie responded. She took a small amount of joy from the look that overcame Fisher at that. Though the joy was killed when Greengrass only seemed to grow more bemused at her response. She kept her gaze focused on Greengrass.
What do you want?
We've heard,
Fisher ventured, waving a hoof in the air,
that the town new episodes has run into a spot of trouble. Something about the zebra, alcohol, and necklace.
The last word was said with a slight cough that concealed a chuckle.
In any event, the REMM had declined your town aid.
Trixie's eyes narrowed.
They are examining the situation.
She corrected petulantly. Fisher offered her shrugged with a meaning that could not be plainer. Same difference.
It's all very unfortunate, he said. Frankly, I'm shocked that the REMM couldn't offer aid to Ponyville in time of need. The town that the elements of harmony called home.
Greengrass rolled his eyes slightly. Trixie only stopped herself from doing so that he had. The last thing she wanted was to imitate him. In any event, Fisher had essentially just shown a spotlight on his and Greengrass's reason for being here. It's not unheard of for the nobility of the Night Court to go on a small shop like this, but the by and large only did so when they had a reason to. Most consider it akin to slumming. Trixie leaned forwards.
You're the reason why I've had to go through such a hard time trying to see nightlight,
she surmised.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Fisher said. You have a very difficult time proving that, Greengrass said at the same time, as he nonchalantly stood up and wandered over to the window. At his first 1 minutes, Fisher shot him a glare, which he didn't relent as Greengrass brought a trio of shakes and carried it back over to the table, setting one down in front of Fisher, one in front of him, and a final one in front of Trixie. Took a long sip of his shake before acknowledging Fisher's glare. What? He demanded. It's not like she'd believe us if we did lie. He winked conspiratorially at Trixie, though as he did, his eyes locked into something behind Trixie. Glancing, she saw a white-coated unicorn getting off a carriage and trotting over to the table. Trixie had already been in the process of shivering at Greengrass's wink. Nearly had a full-on shudder as Prince Bluebud trotted up to the table.
Hello, representative of my fellow nobles, Bluebud said. I'm sorry I'm late.
From the way Greengrass and Fisher as well looked at Bluebud, Trixie surmised the Viscount wasn't supposed to be here at all. And the fact that he both found out about the meeting and made to it was immensely annoying to the other 2 nobles. For all that she did not like Bluebud, It made her feel a little camaraderie towards him, just a little. She pushed the shake that green grass had gotten her over to blue blood.
Enjoy. I already had 5.
Oh, blue blood said, blinking a few times, leading away. Restlessly, his horn lit up and he scooted over to Trixie. No, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Trixie said, her camaraderie thus expended, and instead of being replaced with rage, she used her magic to stir up to shake a little, making it nice and liquid.
I insist.
Trixie tried to hurl the cuts at the blue blood. The white unicorn cried out in surprise, cantering backwards and away from the table, avoiding it, albeit just barely. She tore her gaze away from him and looked at the other 2 ponies, standing with her forehooves on the table.
You 3, she hissed. You're the ones who pointed those lies in the paper, who raised her just as fragrant and all those other ponies to stop me yesterday and today, who lost my reservation at the hotel. You probably did the same to the appointment I made with Lightlight, didn't you?
Do we really have to answer that? Greengrass asked, swimming his sink without concern. Trixie sat back down, glaring as Blue Blood sat down himself, though only after telekinetically cleaning his state of throat shake.
Did you 3 convince Nightlight to help Ponyville?
She asked, her voice small. Her race was already sliding away. The depressant was making a full return now.
Oh no, Fisher said. I'm afraid, Representative, you did that all on your own when you humiliated his daughter and made her into a wanted criminal.
Not your finest hour, Blue Blood nodded, but an entire town does not, in fact, have to suffer for your mistakes. Trixie didn't respond. She knew where this was going, but she didn't have the wherewithal to speed things along at this point. Now, I know you'll probably find this surprising, Greengrass said, leaning forward slightly and pressing his host air. But we're not here to gloat. No, we're actually here to help.
Leaving aside things like causes and responsibilities for the moment, Fisher continued, at the end of the day, it is a simple truth that ponies are suffering in Ponyville right now and need aid. I, Duke Greengrass, Vice Count Bluebird, and myself are ready to render that aid. It would not be a considerable investment, mind. We would expect a few considerations.
Greengrass, Blueblood, and Fisher looked between each other. Trixie noticed a large amount of mistrust in the pony's eyes. Nothing major, Blueblood said at length. Just appearances put here and there by you and your fellow elements of harmony, showing up at certain events, supportive bills we might enter into Night Court. Really, just common courtesy and your gratitude for helping of Ponyville. Essentially understanding, Greengrass said smoothly, from you and your friends, that we were there in your time of greatest need. We're there for you, so you should be there for us. This way you can return to Ponyville as a hero, have your name in the papers as a savior rather than a villain.
We'll let you know how you and you can best show your gratitude,
Fisher finished.
Frankly, at this point, seems like the best possibility for Ponyville.
Trixie closed her eyes.
You'll do what we say when we say to do it.
She mentally translated for what the 3 had been saying.
You'll throw support at the elements of harmony behind all 3 of us, at least until one of us can oust the other 2. You'll be our political puppets, and we'll return and we'll fix your hometown. And you will do this, because otherwise Ponyville will never recover. We don't even have to put special effort into that.
The worst part was they were right, at least concerning Ponyville. Without aid, the town would never financially recover, or at least it would take years and years to do so. Ponies would, by and large, probably abandon it in favor of better prospects elsewhere, which would hurt the local economy even more. It was her duty, her responsibility as representative of Ponyville to ensure that it got the help it needed, no matter the cost to herself, and surely her friends would agree. Trixie looked up at the 3 stallions, all staring expectantly, each of them already considering what to do next, how to manipulate the elements once they were under their political control, how to oust the other 2 from their alliance of convenience. They represented the absolute worst of the Night Court, the parties concerned with their own political advancement, rather than the good of Equestria. No matter what they told themselves, they had done everything in their power to stop Trixie from seeing the one point she desperately needed to. everything in their power, Trixie realized suddenly. However, she had not done everything in her power. These three had bent or broken stars to know how many rules, while she, like the idiot, had been trying to play the rules as written. Trixie stood.
"Oh, I have to get back to you,"
She said, standing and starting to trot off. Visser and Blue Blood were both taken aback, while Greengrass stood himself, blinking rapidly. I'm sorry,
"I said,"
Trixie informed him.
"that I'll have to get back to you. I need to go and meet with Nightlight. Now,"
She said.
then, sentimentally independent, "I'll probably go to prison. But at least I'll have tried."
The office of Viceroy Nightlight was surprisingly simple despite its size. He had a black wooden desk, filing cabinets, bookcase full of law and philosophy, while a adjoining room featured a large meeting table. The desk and meeting table was economical, comfortable, but not extravagant sitting cushions, while the walls of the office featured pictures of landscapes or abstract images that were surprisingly cold and sterile. The only indication that an actual pony used the office, as opposed to some kind of machine, were 4 pictures on the desk. One of Nightlight's wife, Twilight Velvet, one of his sons, Shining Armor, and a third of his daughter, Twilight Sparkle. Each of those 3 had the pony feature in them, looking stoic and noble. The 4th picture, however, was a family portrait, and in each of it the 3 ponies were smiling brightly. It was 11:47 before Nightlight entered his office, telekinetically carrying a number of papers and ledgers, with his orange-coated Pegasus secretary following close behind him, telling him what had happened when he was out. Both Nightlight and secretary were several steps in front before they noticed they weren't alone in their office. There was a blue unicorn mare sitting on one of the guest cushions in front of his desk, staring at him. Trixie had taken off her hat, but still wore her cape. Every other avenue of approach open. She'd done the only things she could. She turned herself invisible and inaudible and had snuck into Nightlight's office, waiting for him to arrive. The secretary stared wide-eyed.
"What? How?"
she asked, before turning. "I'll get the guard." "No need, Miss Cirrus," Nightlight said, raising one hoof to stop the Pegasus. His eyes, however, did not leave Trixie's. "Please wait outside. Miss Littlemoon will be leaving shortly." The secretary paused a few moments before obeying the Viceroy, offering a slight bow before she turned and left, closing the door to the office behind her. Trixie took a moment to take in the Viceroy. He was surprisingly average at a glance. Deep blue coat with immense deeper blue, nearly black hair, parted down the middle to allow for his horn. He seemed reasonably fit, but not particularly so, and the black vest he wore was simple in design. All in all, he in no way looked like he was the contender for the title of most powerful pony in Equestria. But a contender he was. So as soon as the secretary left, Trixie stood and bowed deeply.
"Viceroy Nightlight," she said. "My name is Trixie Lunamoon, Her Majesty's representative to Ponyville."
"Yes, I know," the Viceroy said evenly, trying past Trixie behind his desk.
"I'm sorry for breaking into your office," Trixie said, "but I'm here because of a matter of great importance."
"Are you?" Trixie bit her lip. The Viceroy's tone was very neutral as he settled down behind his desk, opening a document and began to read it.
"Let me begin," she said, "by saying that I did not say the things printed in Equestrian Nightly."
"No," Nightlight answered, without looking up. "That was Archduke Fisher, I believe." A faint glimmer of hope sprang to life in Trixie's heart at that. She frowned a little.
"And I want to apologize for what happened with Twilight."
Shining Armor already passed along your apology. Nightlight interrupted, a slight scowl overcoming his features.
Trixie stood in place. "I tried to do it face-to-face when Princess Cadenza came to Canterlot."
Too soon, Nightlight explained, glancing up for the first time, holding Trixie's gaze for a few moments, before returning to whatever he was reading. Trixie decided not to mention the letters.
"Viceroy, I am sorry."
"If you are here about the situation in Ponyville," Nightlight interrupted again, turning to paste on the document his ring. "I'm afraid you've wasted your time."
Trixie bristled. "Please, Viceroy, please don't make it entire—"
"I've approved of the funds just a few hours ago, you see,"
Nightlight continued. "Child suffer for—"
"What?" Trixie's words died in her throat. She blinked a few times, Wonder if you heard Nightlight correctly. The Viceroy turned the page on the document he was reading again. The allocation will be in 3 parts over the next 3 weeks. He continued, the first payment will be reaching Ponyville by tomorrow at the latest. Trixie stared in disbelief. For several long minutes, the only sound was of the Viceroy paging through whatever document he was reading. At length, he looked up at Trixie expectantly. The mayor doubted slightly after a few moments.
Thank you, she said softly, standing. Thank you, Viceroy.
She picked up her hat with one hoof and sat on her head, turning and trotting to the door. She felt as though, one by one, bags instead were being lifted off her back.
I thought you were doing this just because of what happened with... And I am sorry. I am so sorry. I was worried you were making Ponyville suffer because I was there.
Oh. Nightlight said, turning a page. I didn't say I wasn't. Trixie froze. Her hoof had been about to push open the door. By the Viceroy's words, she turned around. Nightlight had at last finished his document, picked up a quill and signed it. Then he looked Trixie in the eye. Trixie blinked uncomprehendingly.
But if you're doing that, then why?
Nightlight tapped his 2 hooves together. Do you really think that the princess would allow a town to suffer? He asked. I was never going to be able to deny funds to Ponyville entirely, or even for very long. To be perfectly frank, I'm surprised I managed to do so for as long as I did. The princess was quite incensed when she found out how long I was dragging my hooves. I have never seen her so angry. Though if what I hear is correct, you have. Trixie stared. Nightlight stood, coming up from around his desk and trying out to Trixie. Now, Miss Lunaverse, Nightlight said, I have to inform you that these few days of worry are the absolute worst I will ever have to be able to manage. It cost me quite a bit of Her Majesty's respect to achieve even that. And to be frank, I feel dirty for having stooped so low, tarnished my family's good name for so much. But make no mistake. He was very close to Trixie now, muscles and horn practically touching. I do not forgive you for what you did. Nightlight lingered close to Trixie for several long moments before drawing away. Trixie blinked rapidly.
But, she said, but I'm sorry. I really am.
Sorry does not bring my daughter back, Nightlight nodded. For all I know, she is lying dead in a ditch somewhere. Do you have any idea what that is like, Representative? Can you possibly understand what it is like for me and my wife and son? Besides, he sat down behind his desk, glaring at Trixie. I'm afraid I've been playing this game for far too long, and I know your history far too well. Your apologies are mean to me. You only, rightly, fear the consequences for having one of the viceroys of Equestria as your political enemy in Night Court.
No! No! Trixie exclaimed, stepping forward. I really am! I mean it! How can I prove it?
Nightlight offered a grim, thin-lipped smile clearly. She asked the question she wanted to hear. Resign as a representative of the Night Court. Trixie backed away as though she had been slapped.
What?
Nightlight shook his head slightly. As I said, I've been playing this game of politics, cloak and dagger, for far too long. Apart from finding my daughter yourself and convincing her to return, the only way you could possibly prove that your regret is not born from fear of political consequences would be to remove yourself from politics entirely. Resign as a representative, and never seek a title, and I will consider the matter closed, and your word sincere. Trixie stared wide-eyed. She only ever wanted to be one thing, at least since becoming Luna's apprentice 10 years ago. A noble in Night Court. She never really expected much, except her greatest fancies where she was made a vice-reine and given a fifth of Equestria and all the wealth and power she could want. But those were just fancies and she knew it. She fully expected to start small. A barony, perhaps, maybe a vice-county if she was lucky. To make allies, deal with enemies, collect favors, and have to pay out a few of her own. Attend gala and events and be a small celebrity. So you have a minor title, a little land, a say in how Equestria was run. Become the founding member of the House of Little Moon. And Nightlight wanted her to give it all up. Nightlight was staring at her reaction. Or don't, he said. In which case, I shall instruct every bill you put into Night Court. Oppose every motion. I think you will find that if a viceroy wishes to lock a newcomer out of the system, then we succeed. Trixie shook her head slowly. You're
You want me to give up everything I've ever wanted!
The Viceroy's eyes narrowed. You gave very little consideration to what my daughter wanted once you came to Ponyville.
We argued! That's it! She's the one who brought in a space bear! It's not my fault!
Nightlight only glared at Trixie. Trixie shook her head again. You're as bad as Fisher, she said. You're as bad as Blue Blood, as Greengrass. You're not supposed to do this! Nightlight shrugged. For a pony who wanted to be a part of Night Court, you seem to have very little idea to how it functions.
How it functions.
All at once, as though she'd been bucked in the face. Trixie stumbled backwards a few steps, staring at Nightlight for a few moments more, before turning and running from his office, her mind whirling as he galloped blindly.
How the Night Court functions.
Trixie realized he had been wrong to think of Greengrass and his ilk as the corruptions in the court. To think that ponies like Blue Blood, Fisher, and Greengrass, and even Nightlight were her enemies, were a problem. They weren't her enemies. They weren't the problem. They were the symptoms. Her scale had been completely off. Using spies against each other, blackmailing and intimidating and bribing, hiring thugs, making the entire sound suffer to threaten a single pony. All of it on such a large scale that it was accepted as a simple fact of existence rather than a flaw that needed correcting. It was corrupt. It was rotting from the inside out. Ponies were being caught in the crossfire when it melted to a fractious crime ring, a slow game of gang warfare. There weren't problems with the Night Court. The problem was the Night Court. Trixie wasn't looking to where she was going. It was a miracle she hadn't hit some pony before she did. She had no idea where she was. It finally hit the barrel, pony at full speed. She went stumbling backwards, her hat flying off her head and covering over her eyes. Trixie! Trixie knew that voice. She lifted her cape from her eyes and looked up, and found herself looking at two night guards. Another pony in the unicorn, Lateral picking himself up, ready to arrest Trixie for assault, before a midnight blue hoof was placed on his withers. The hoof, of course, belonged to Princess Luna. It was staring down at Trixie with a look of worry on her face. Are you all right? Trixie stared back. The past week flashed through her mind. The strikes of Ponyville, the torture she'd gone through yesterday, today, to see Nightlight, the malign paradigm shift that was a revelation about the Night Court, even now fresh in her mind. Trixie shook her head as she burst into tears.